Welcome to all inspiring chefs, cooks, and everything in between alike. This is Griever, your guys' host as always, bringing you guys Shokugeki no wait a minute. Shokugeki no Sanji is in here. Wow, I haven't been able to do that intro in a long time. And you know what? I just ordered the very last volume that I needed, volume 35, to complete my Food Wars collection. I already had volume 36. For some reason, I forgot to order volume 35. But now it's on its way. I will complete Food Wars. And it just so happens that they come out with the part 2. I believe I made a video for chapter 1 review of this. But Shokugeki no Soma mixed with Sanji and the Straw Hats. If you guys haven't seen this already, Viz just dropped today, January 3rd. They dropped Chapter 2. I didn't think this was going to be a thing. I thought that was a one-shot. It probably was intended to be. But I remember it being super popular, and now we're getting this one. So if you haven't seen Chapter 1, I think I did a video. I might not have ever uploaded it. Probably, maybe not. So don't hold me to that. But here we're going to review Chapter 2 of this. The first time was, of course, on the Baratier, I believe, and blah, blah, blah. But this time, we are in the East Blue, and we are following Sanji here as Food Wars basically Food Wars Shokugeki no Sanji Chapter 2. And I like this chapter because I always love, and you guys know this about me, character models is all down to the style and preference, right? I love the Shokugeki no Soma art style. For the men, for the females, I love it. The same with Kubo. Love it. Like it a lot more than Black Clover, My Hero Academia, and etc., etc. So, if you can make me fall in love with the character models, usually the story is enhanced for me because it's the art style I prefer. But it's not necessarily always the quality of the art. It's always the character models. I gotta fall in love with them, and I love this style. So, seeing, of course, the One Piece crew in a style that I really enjoy, it's just that much better. So this chapter goes on. So let's just get underway, guys. I just had to reminisce there. I hadn't been able to say my opening Food Wars line, and it must have been a couple of years now. When did Food Wars Lead Dessert number 3 end? That was probably the last time, right? So yeah, that's a lot of fun. But here we're just getting, of course, they're all chilling on the ship. It's the Going Merry, seeing the Going Merry back. It's just a boat. It's just a boat. Anyways, so we're seeing the Going Merry. We got Sanji, we got Usopp, we got Luffy, we got Nami and Zoro, right? So we got the original 5 basically chilling out in the East Blue right before, it seems to be before they went to the Grand Line. Now, Sanji's just chilling on deck. Everybody's chilling, and it's funny that this sort of chapter happened because a lot of people have said these are the sort of chapters people want to see, the interactions between the Straw Hats just chilling out on the sea, on the ship, just the interactions, hilarity ensues. This is the type of stuff we want to see, so this is really nice. Zoro looking like a beast. Zoro looking so clean, so good in this art style. Gotta love it. And of course, I'm a Zoro fanboy. But this is going to be a huge moment for Sanji fanboys. A huge moment for Zoro fanboys as well. Some people might complain this is out of character. Zoro's there with Wado Ichimonji, of course, and it's his only sword right now. It's probably sometime between the time when both of his swords broke and he was looking for his other one, you know, that sort of deal. But here, we're just getting them screwing around, but then they see a fishing boat with a guy. He's cast off the port bow. What are we going to do? It's funny, they never actually draw Luffy or Usopp. They do draw them in 1 or 2 panels, but cover their eyes and stuff. And I couldn't help but think, like, they got the rights to Nami, Zoro, and Sanji, but they didn't get the rights to everybody else. You know what I mean? It almost seems like a copyright agreement because they talk Luffy's on the ship, but they don't... It's sort of funny because they never actually show Luffy in this scene, so it's kind of interesting. But the other thing is that this is, of course, before they got Brook, and remember, one of the big things that Luffy always said is, we need a musician. Like, what? Like, of course, because of Shanks, because of the way the pirate life, and of course Luffy, he always wanted a musician. So it's funny that up until Best Boy Jinbei showed up, Brook was the last one to join, and he was the musician that Luffy set out in Chapter 1, like, I'm going to be king of the pirates, but I need a musician. I need someone to play music. And of course, that's not like, you need a first mate, you need a navigator, you need a cook, you need a helmsman, you need these things, but you need a shipwright. It's kind of funny that musician was always on his mind, and it's not exactly necessary for a crew, but so he's still talking about, hey, do you see an instrument? Hey, are you a musician? Bring him on board. So it's this guy that basically, he's Castaway Ruibai. And Ruibai didn't really want to be saved sort of idea, right? He is a chef from a nearby island, according to Sanji, and since his only daughter is getting married, he wants to serve a legendary fish, wants to, like, a meal they've never had, sort of idea, like getting Wagyu beef or Kobe beef, right? Which I know is the thing of Wagyu, but like getting Wagyu beef for your wedding, like something you have never tasted before. And so he goes out to find this thing, right? And the thing is that he has caught a ton of them. The wedding feast is tomorrow, and we have to get you there, some legendary fish and stuff. But he says you can take them all, toss them back in the water. It doesn't matter. He got the draconic super filet salmon. Now, I love this because it is sort of I always love when they add the odd ingredient. Of course, this would definitely be in One Piece, but I just love feeling like the strange ingredient vibe. That's very Food Wars. It's very Toriko finding, this is the dragon salmon. It's so, so I just really enjoy it. And the thing is that the old man, he was able to catch a bunch of them, but the dragon salmon can't be, he can't figure out a way to fillet it and then be able to cook and serve it. He doesn't have the technique. And this, once again, the reason reminding me of Toriko is one of the first things that they sort of failed at, and it was one of the learning curves in the early arcs of Toriko, was the pufferfish. And this is the same idea, is that it's a very delicate, you need to, very reminiscent of the I believe it's the blowfish in our current, in our real world, if you will. And that's the thing that I don't think I'll ever try, because you need a license. If you get it wrong, you can kill someone, sort of idea. That sort of weeds me out. I think I'm good. I'll stick with my haddock and my lobster for right now. Things that won't kill me if I eat it. But the funny thing is here is that they go in this whole thing about the rare and unique ingredients of the East Blue. They're a type of salmon whose long body being the mind of an imaginary dragon and stuff, and they do look pretty epic. They do look pretty cool. A lot of people might use this as, it's the Kaido fish, right? Because of course the dragon salmon, legendary fish fruit. We're getting in. See, fish can be badass. Fish can be dragons. Leave them alone. Either way, Sanji basically says, well, let me take a crack at it, right? Like, I'll be able to do it, and it takes someone and he says no East Blue cook could ever do it. We need somebody far better from a different sea and stuff. And Sanji, of course, insulted and said, Monsieur, I will never let that slide. Leave it to me. You're going head, I'm going to just get fired up. And I love when Sanji said, this gets me fired up, of course, because fired up is more the fairy tale thing, with Natsu's catch line, but it's sort of Soma said it a couple times. So I do like that. Adding the fish thing is that you're a cook, you don't get so full of yourself. And at first you think Sanji, like, this is the way the chapter's going to go, and Sanji's just going to be able to do this, like, real simple, right? And he does initially get the first couple of steps down, right? He's got speed and accuracy. He's able to, all right, I can do this, let's go. And he slices it, and then he has great skill, but the moment he pierces the fish, boom, tore into water, hits him in the face. And that's when the old man, Rubai, says, this is the hardest part. This is why it's so difficult. The dragon salmon's stomach is its most tender. Once again, they're reminding me a lot of the pufferfish. The dragon salmon's stomach is the most tender part, particularly sensitive to a nice blade. To open it successfully requires a perfectly straight, singular cut. You can't even be off by a millimeter. Toriko. Can't stress that enough. The slightest hesitation or waver in the blade will pop the fish's natural defenses and make it burst like a balloon, exploding all its delicious flesh into useless scraps. So now, once that explodes, those juices need to be maintained in the meat. If they're not, then the meat tastes like garbage. It tastes like crap. So he needs to get this cut perfect. Now, Rubai said, there, you get how hard it is now? There's no way you can do it, blah, blah, blah. And they're all just chilling, you know. I did like the fact that Sanji at the beginning, and I forgot to mention this, and Zoro's just sipping on one, is out of the tangerines that, of course, Nami brought along. So this is after Arlong Park, by the looks of it. This is after Arlong Park. It doesn't really matter. They're still in the East Blue. And this is where basically says like, I'm gonna make make a dish out of the tangerines and makes a cocktail. So that was just wanted to note that. And Zoro did ask, "Where's mine?" And he is drinking one later on. So Nami even says like, how are you gonna be able to do that? One singular cut, but the fish is so damn long. The thing's as long as an eel. How are you gonna do that in one single cut? Sanji seems convinced that he can do it with a Yanegiba knife. It's a tool specifically designed for cutting fish for sushi and sashimi. Now, I personally don't own one, and I've never heard of the Yanegiba knife, because if it's specifically for sushi, I do have some fish knives, but I don't have a sushi and sashimi specific knife. I don't think I have a blade that long. I might have a cleaver or something that's that long. But yeah, it looks like an extremely long fish carving knife. And I'm really interested in it because it will slice the flesh cleanly, cutting the fibers without crushing them and letting any of the tasty juices escape. So that is very similar to other fish knives, but this one is specifically far longer. So he does try it, but it doesn't work again. And he tries again and again and again. And of course, the old man has, as I said, he caught tons of them. They're not that hard to catch. They're impossible, like they're not super rare to catch. Necessarily, they're uncommon, sure, but he managed to get a ton of them. But if you can't prepare them, what's the point? So Sanji is looking to defeat the old man. Is like, quit it already, just give up, she's like, I'm trying to do this all for my daughter. I was so busy with work, I never did much for her when she was growing up, and this is the one thing I wanted to do for her, but he never got so he was just trying to do this on her wedding day. And Zoro is hearing all this. And he's just like, I'd go to sleep each night wondering if I'd go to my daughter's bed the next morning, only to find she hadn't woken up, that she'd never say good morning to me again. Closing my eyes was terrifying, let me tell you. So he goes on this thing because apparently she was a really frail little girl and really had a lot of problems, like was sick a lot growing up, so he was always so worried about her. And Zoro's there, holding the Waluigi Monji. And just, and this guy just keeps going on and on. Says, I had to do something special for her. It's the biggest day of her life. I just can't. And Nami is a little taken back by this. And he just says, sorry, the trouble I've already caused all you guys. I'm going to tell him to quit. It's fine. You did more for me than anybody should have. It's fine. And Zoro just goes, don't stop him. And it just said, don't. And he goes, what right do you have to talk about this? This isn't your... He goes, wait a minute. He said, I know enough. He said, cooks and swordsmen may be two totally different jobs. And I don't believe this has ever been brought up before in manga. And I love this. This is the type of side story, as I said, that we like to see in One Piece. And I'm going to say this is canon. Just like the last one, this is canon as far as I'm concerned. Because it fits so well. Cooks and swordsmen may be totally different jobs, but we both make our living and our livelihood based on the blade. I never thought of that comparison between Sanji and Zoro before, that both of them need to use a sword, a blade, to achieve their goals. Whether you're a cook or a swordsman, fundamentally you use the blade. And I never personally made that comparison, and I don't think in One Piece it was ever mentioned, but this is great. And coming from Zoro, it makes so much sense. And as he says, when a man says he's going to cut something, he's going to cut it. And this, of course, is probably coming sometime. Like remember, Zoro was always about, well, I got to cut it. I got to cut iron. I got to cut diamond. I got to cut what can't be cut. So this is the whole thing. Now, he's looking in and he sees all the knives that Sanji has laid out. We see a regular chef's knife. We see the fish fillet knife. We see the cleaver. We see tons of knives. And Zoro's staring on and just realizes that, and this is a big deal. So Sanji recognizes that each of his knives just isn't meant for this. He has all the knives. They're all in top-notch condition, but they can't do it. The Yangiba knife is probably just a little too thin and not designed to cut through like that. And the Diba knife is, the blade is just far too short. So he just can't figure it out. He needs length, sharpness, and sturdiness all in the same knife. And none of the chef knives, none of the standard chef knives that he has, or even in general, have that capability. They don't have all three traits. So Zoro comes in and basically, starts making fun of him. So Sanji and him, of course, having their classic banter. And he says, I'm going to go do my daily training, but before I go, I need to leave one of my swords here. Now, it's funny that he says one of his swords, because as I said, I took it that his swords were destroyed. He still has only the one, but, the Wado. But I guess that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense here. Either way, he's been holding the Wado the whole time. It appears to be the Wado anyways. And he says, here is a big boy sword. It won't listen to some lame playboy who only knows how to goof off. But I only know one guy like that, and if I left this sword in the same room as him, he wouldn't even have the guts to try to pick it up. Zoro basically in his own way, of course, doing Sanji fanboys, and Zoro fanboys too, but Sanji fanboys must have been going nuts if you've read this, because, of course, Zoro just walks away saying, I'm just leaving my sword here. And I know nobody, everyone else is too pussy to even try to use this thing. So it's no problem if it sits right here while I go out and do something. And Sanji recognized what he did, what he says, and then Sanji, of course, ignores all that, and Nami's realizing this too. He's like, wow, this is convenient. The tool I need, it just happens to be lying here. Wonder whose this is. And just doing that, of course, because neither one of them can say it, neither one of them can just help. They got to do it this way. It's very Sanji Zoro. It fits their characters. And Sanji holding. Now, once again, a lot of you might be saying, no, that's not the Wado, but I'm like, it's the only white one, that Zoro had, so yeah. As far as I'm concerned, this is Sanji. Either way, it's a Zoro sword. I think it's the Wado Ichimonji, and he's holding the Wado Ichimonji. Even if the hilt and everything, it's not exactly right. This is the Wado. It looks like the Wado enough to me, and Sanji there wielding the Wado Ichimonji of Zoro outside the scabbard. Like, that's got to be a huge, huge moment for so many Sanji fanboys. It's got to be great. So he uses it. It's epic. He manages to do it. And on the next day, they serve this fish. It's apparently amazing. Of course, they do have to have the, and of course, the daughter is extremely happy with the father and stuff. They drop him off, all this stuff. They have this amazing dragon salmon. And of course, they leave enough so that Sanji can serve it to everybody else. So the succulent seared dragon salmon sushi. He made sushi out of it. Of course, it looks, it doesn't exactly look like sushi that I'm aware of. That looks more like nigiri, but it's just which is a type of sushi, but it looks like nigiri to me. Where of course you have your little ball of rice and then you lay it over top, sort of idea. So this is where, as I said, we see Luffy and Usopp, but their eyes are blacked out and stuff. As I said, it's like they couldn't get the copyright laws for them, and this is where, of course, everybody eats, and we get the classic food war Shokugeki, the foodgasm. We get the foodgasm. You gotta love it, right? Everyone at first just going, and I mean, they don't go too Ichi with it. They don't go too crazy, but we see them sort of dressed like very like mermaid, very Shirahoshi style, right? Very Shirahoshi. So this is definitely after Arlong Park, as we can tell, because of course here we see Nami has her tangerine tattoo. So beautiful that no art can do it justice, ironically, and they draw upon like them as though they're at Fishman Island as mermaids and dancers, and it looks very delicious. And even Zoro, takes a big swig of beer. Felt that one, and he's pretty awesome. And Sanji's like, yeah, it's damn good, isn't it? And so they all do the cleanup sort of idea. Then Sanji comes out and sees Zoro wiping down his sword. They both have like this moment where they look at each other, just like the respect, like, you helped me, I helped you. Yeah, all right, thanks. Like they can't say it. Sanji can't thank Zoro for what he did, because that just wouldn't be them. So either way, Sanji is, of course, grateful, but it's Sanji and Zoro. I think this fit their character so well. And then they have to, of course, end it off on the comedy sketch of them fighting. And he says, give me a handful of salt. He said, a certain gutter-minded cook's dirty thoughts might have gotten all over my sword. I got to purify it. He says, dip it in the seawater. He's like, no, you don't do that and all that stuff. You heard me, and then we just end up with Nami, of course, reading the newspaper, the classic newspaper with the news coup and all that stuff. So what a great, I mean, I think this was like 35, 40 pages, 39 pages, so a long one, guys. So I'm sorry that was so long-winded, but yeah, just really wanted to sort of go through it page by page really quickly, 20 minutes being quick, and just say, I love this. I think that this is as canon as you can get, and what an epic moment to do off screen. Like, in a definitely, Oda didn't do it, so you can argue that point, but I think it fits their characters, it fits their style. It's a really nice moment between Zoro and Sanji, and it shows, and of course, you guys know, I love Toriko, I love Food Wars, and I like to cook myself. So anything involving true, when they get into the details of cooking, I love it. I love it so much. And this goes to show, like, sort of like the filler part in Logtown with Sanji and the food competition. I like that aspect. I like that addition. I really do. Because anytime you add that stuff, of course, I'm very interested in cuisines and cooking and techniques and methods. So this sort of thing is perfect for me. I hope there is a chapter 3 coming. I really do, because I really enjoyed chapter 1. Chapter 2 was even better. As I said before, I don't remember if I ever uploaded my review when chapter 1 did drop. I think that was a year, maybe longer. That's a long time ago that came out, it feels like. But yeah, if it's not up there, I did definitely go read that either way, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you didn't actually read it, read it. Like, I don't know why you'd be watching my review if you didn't, but seriously, guys, read this. I missed Shokugeki no Soma, even though the last, 15, 20 chapters were absolutely abysmal. I did like Shokugeki no Soma. I'm about to own the whole thing. It was fantastic. It was a great manga, and I'm sorry that it's gone out of the main lineup of my weekly read. So, I like having this. This was just like a little dessert. You know, this was just a little morsel, like, here you go. Here's something fun, mixing 2 great mangas and putting them into one. It was just a really fun time. And a lot of people I can see a lot of people being very upset about Zoro would never let Sanji or anybody touch his sword and use his sword and stuff. I can see that argument, but I think this works. I think it was done tastefully. I think it was done correctly, and it was just a big wow moment, like you never thought you'd see it. So it's like, outside of fan art, you never thought you'd see it. So I think it was just really, really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Like, comment, and subscribe. Happy New Year, everybody. We're starting off 2021, I think, pretty good so far. No, I haven't heard about the Plague of Locusts yet. So let's just hope that 2021 is what we're all hoping it to be. So thanks, guys, so much for watching. Drink responsibly, as always. And, damn, what was my outro? What did my outro used to be? Keep cooking. I believe that was it. Keep cooking, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you back here next time. Peace out.